Hey, Godzilla fans, it was Godzilla week over at couchsoup.com, where you can catch all sorts of amazing Godzilla-related articles and videos. Be sure to swing over there for all the amazing content that we have dumped in this week-long extravaganza of Godzilla. Hashtag Godzilla Week. Now it's time for the Monarch Files. Dum dum dum. Wake up, everybody, because it's time. You're listening to the Monarch Files, your weekly breakdown of each episode of Monarch Legacy of Monsters, part of the Watching Now series on Couch Soup. On the task force this evening, we have Brandy.
Hello.
Lily.
Hello there.
And Tom.
Howdy, partners.
What the fuck?
Yeehaw.
What? So everyone else can be stupid and tired, but I can't.
No.
No,
Shut up, Tom.
not allowed. That's how it goes. Anyways, I'm your host, Dan Morris, and we are here to talk about episode 5. The Way Out.
What? Oh.
It was suspense, Lily. Jesus.
Epic pause. Yes, episode 5 of the Monarch. Monarch Legacy of Monsters. I am the Monarch!
Butterfly.
Butterfly.
All right.
Be serious. Be serious.
Van Damme. What is your first impressions, non-spoiler take of this episode, Lily?
It made me cry, so we're already good. Because I always say that if something can't make me cry, then it's shit. I have very, very straightforward look at things. But I do believe that if it can make me emotional in one way or another, then come on. And this made me emotional. So I was like, oh, we got there. Right at the halfway point, I'm invested again in these people. They are finally not shitheads, which is very nice. I love Kentaro, and I'm glad that Tom likes him now too. So we don't have to fight. It's not that big of a spoiler. Come on.
No, spoilers that Tom likes Kentaro.
Yes. But it was a really good episode. Really good.
Cool. And Tom.
Okay, so it's open spoil, but I do like Kentaro now as a character. But this is probably my favorite episode so far. Even though, again, there's no real big monsters this time. I really enjoyed the drama. I loved how the story in this episode progressed, how we got revealed the certain backstories. And I just felt like it's starting to hit its stride now. And I'm very keen to see if they can keep this momentum going forward.
Yes.
Brandy.
I agree with Tom for sure, because this was a really, really good episode. I enjoyed everything about it. I was fully in it, and I gotta know more.
The least descriptive version. Thank you, Brandy.
You're welcome.
It's the point of non-spoilers, Dan.
That's
exactly.
right.
Sure. Brandy just gave us a bunch of adjectives, so there you go.
Yes.
We are professionals
really
here, okay?
Yes, this is a good episode. It was good because it did things. Very good.
Yes.
Oh my God.
No, agreed. This was a good episode. Yes, again, it didn't have much in the big monster action, but the epic backstory, I think, is what really carried this episode, as well as some of the characters kind of evolving a bit. So yeah, I think we're all in the mindset this is one of the better episodes. But to really break it down, it's time to move on to our spoiler review. Yes, so on this episode, it opens up pretty much where the last episode left off in 2015, where the gang is in Alaska at a Monarch outpost, and we see that everybody is being held in separate cells. Kentaro is doing some weird thing where he's slapping concrete like that's going to do anything. And then Kate's in there saying, I'm not scared of you guys. You can't scare me, while they're being watched by creepy people on cameras.
Yes.
Kentaro throws a chair and we get the opening credits. But then we cut to May, who is in a hospital cart and a hospital gown, and she's all better. No more frozy legs. She's good now.
Yeah.
She has 10 toes she can count.
Yeah.
She can count to 10.
Yay.
So May's good. That's good.
No.
I suppose somehow May's fine. And then Duvall comes in and talks to her and says, You're a tricky one because you know how to like hide things, and you clearly have all other things happening. And then Duvall like kind of like does a little like slides her a card, like, you give me a call when you need something. So I like this sudden like interest in May, especially because we've all been already talking about how like something is going on with May, and then Duvall's like, we got to get in on this.
Because she's sneaky. Yeah, that was interesting to see. Like, they have to connect with someone some way to go after them, basically. But I will say in advance that I still think that the whole May changing her mind was a bit too quick for me personally. That was my only problem. But I think they could have waited another episode, maybe. But oh well, that's just nitpicking, so it's fine. But yeah, that offer didn't surprise me because it's a big company. Of course, they would see that she's has multiple passports, whatever. So sure.
Well, they obviously knew who her sister was because they were able to pull out the sister's passport, basically. And
I didn't understand that. Like, why would May have?
No, that wasn't another alias. That was just one of her aliases. I don't think.
No,
that was
I don't
sister.
think it was.
That's how I took it, as it was an alias.
Yeah, I thought it was just like
she wouldn't use her sister's name.
Yeah, because she said this picture doesn't look like you.
Yeah.
So I think it was basically just Duvall saying, we know who your sister is. Like, we know where you're from. We know who you actually are, kind of thing. So I think that's why.
Secrets.
Yeah, I think that's why May was like, right.
Why do they have the passport then?
Yeah.
I don't know.
My interpretation of that
think it was just a pretend passport.
Okay.
Well, I thought like it was a different name and the face doesn't look like her because like she just changes how she looks if she needs to use that passport. Like, hey, be like, I'm onto your game of you disappear a lot and you try and change your identity. We're now want to watch you. And we're interested in learning more about you, and we will find out any secrets you're hiding. And then May's like, shit, that could mean my sister. So I thought like she was just sort of like preemptively just going, probably can't go against them now.
But she said the sister's name. Why?
Yeah.
Well,
why would she use the sister's name?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe she didn't think it through.
From Tacoma, it's like Tacoma.
Yeah.
Which is where she's from.
Right.
Either way, she was manipulating May in some form or fashion to
because she knows
end.
May has the files somewhere.
And she says that. She says, like, I'm sure a smart girl like you has those files backed up somewhere.
Mm.
And then it's like, is she trying to recruit her into Monarch, or is it just to manipulate the situation?
Yeah.
They're trying to get the files and everything.
Well, Tim wanted to recruit all three of them.
Yeah, it seems like it. So, speaking of which, we then see Verdugo, Tim, and Duvall talking about the kids in some security room where they have the surveillance. And Tim is talking about that the kids have the legacy, like the random kids have the legacy of Hiroshi. And Duvall basically says, like, yeah, they're just normal kids, but that May, she's special. But then she gives the notion of like, let's release them, put them on a long leash, and we'll see where they lead us to. So they're obviously looking to utilize the kids to follow the trail that they're already started on. So it's a little bit of a change of what's been happening so far. So far, they've been pursuing the kids, trying to stop them. Now they're going to let the kids go off and follow them to whatever end.
Well, because they obviously can't find Hiroshi, so they're going to use the kids to do it.
It's a smarter move.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we keep calling them kids, but I'm pretty sure they're all young adults at this point.
Yeah.
Contextually, like,
but they're Hiroshi's kids.
Yeah,
right.
So they
keep calling them the Randa kids.
Yeah.
Kids. Done.
So then we have this a scene of Shaw in his cell, and a projector kicks on out of nowhere, and there's footage of young Shaw and Keiko back in, say, the 50s, it seems. And then there's this really, really cool bit where this image of young Wyatt Russell is on top of Kurt Russell. And you can just see the likenesses blending together. And I was like, that's so good.
That was like one of the best shots in this entire episode.
Easily.
And they had the same smile. It was so good.
I don't think they didn't turn the same way.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Yeah, well, they ruined the immersion.
Completely broken.
Okay.
But then anyways, Verdugo comes in to talk to him. And as they're chatting, it cuts to Duvall, who mentions specifically, how old is this guy? He's got to be like 90.
So he should be what, 90 at least? How does he look like that? There's rumors.
And it's like, that's exactly what we've been saying. He's been around forever at this point. And she basically says exactly what we've been saying. Like, he's got to be in his 90s. For being in his 90s. And then Tim mentions something about a mission going bad. But he gives very little.
But it's classified.
What does Tim know? But there's still this notion that Tim, I've been saying this from the beginning, I feel like Tim is out for the greater good of everything. You guys are all like, Tim's creepy. It's like,
he is creepy.
That doesn't matter. He could be creepy, but it doesn't mean he's not trying to achieve the better outcome of all this. And you get a lot of that in this episode. You start to see like, okay, like Tim seems to care about their well-being. At least that's my interpretation of Tim, unless you're all just like, no, he's just a fucking weird, creepy dude.
No, I mean, I think it could go either way, honestly.
No, I think he's a good one.
Yeah, I think he's going to be an ally in the end, I assume. Because I think he's trying to get Monarch to go in the direction that Shaw's been trying to get it to go to. Like, we need to prevent G-Day, not let them fight.
That was so good.
Yeah. Like, I can say that, like, good intentions deep down, he probably has like the right goal. He just goes about it really stupid ways, and even they called him out and was like, we're just going to save them.
Yeah,
like,
mistakes were made.
Them.
Yeah, Verdugo completely calls him out on that, and he was like, yeah, my bad. That was
happens.
Mistakes were made.
I just want to say, when Verdugo comes and talks to Shaw, and she's like, oh, what are you doing all this time? Why did you not escape? He goes, I got really good at bocce.
Yeah.
Like, I just loved, like, he was taking the piss at that point. It's just like,
well, the whole scenes of Shaw and Verdugo together, he's just smiling. He's like,
got all the fucking cards,
like talking about like calling he's like deputy director.
Yeah. I love him.
Yeah,
he's really killing it. Like, this is definitely some of like peak Kurt Russell action.
Hell yeah.
Peak Russell action.
Oh yeah, we need more Russells though in every episode. Like, the lack of Russells, especially this is like the second episode where Wyatt wasn't, there really, except for the one shot. So I'm like, bring it back, please. So,
like, hello, my loins require Russell.
The loins.
Yes.
Ew.
What do you mean, ew?
we wanted monster appendages.
Right.
That's Brandy, not me.
Yeah. No, I was pointing to Brandy because Brandy was being like, what? And I'm like, you can't
that's
talk.
true.
Yeah.
Anyways,
mistakes were made.
Great transition shot into the ruins of San Francisco, which I love. That was shot.
Just crazy.
This is the thing I've been hoping and waiting for with this show, to get more of what was the result of the 2014 G-Day event, and just San Francisco is just devastated, and it's still devastated. Like, nobody's living there. They're still cleaning up. There's no bouncing back, right away from this level of catastrophe. But then we see the kids again. The kids, they're landing in the Oakland airport, and who comes to pick them up? But some random dude. We don't know who this is. He's kind of creepy. James comes to pick him up, and he's Kate's mom's work friend. And Kate is clearly not happy about this. That she's very definitely trying to dismiss him and tell him to go away. And he's just like, no, I insist. You should come. So then we get to meet Kate's mom, and you realize, now Kentaro gets to meet Kate's mom. This is going to be fun.
Oh, wait. Before we get into that part, I forgot to say that finally May addressed that. Who saved them?
She did say that. She did say Kentaro saved them.
All right, girl. Yeah. Be good now. Be good now.
Yes, I did pick up on that too.
Go back to the mom.
Yeah. Well, I just want to jump in the mom. I just want to say I really liked how they did it. Like how she was so excited, like, oh, friends, yeah. And then just like how it first sunk in, he was like, this is Kentaro Randa. It's just like, oh. And then tries to play it off, but then like as she progressively breaks down more and more and more. And I just really enjoyed how they did that. And just like the frantic sort of like panic attack sort of deal she had.
Yeah, and on top of that, we also get the first real insight to Kate prior to the beginning of the show. Because up until now, we don't really know much about Kate other than she went to Japan to look for her father and she's been there. So now when she's talking to her mom and she's asking her mom, like, why aren't you freaking out? And she was questioning her, why did you send me to Japan to look into where dad's been? And then we start to learn, she's been just locked up in her room for the past year and just doing nothing with her life. So it was her mom's attempt to try to get Kate to just do anything. And it's like, okay, so Kate wasn't doing well at all after this
surprising
G-Day.
Yeah. But I'm not gonna lie, I think they missed a big chance with the mom, because I honestly thought that once it is revealed that Kentaro was the kid, whatever, she's just gonna be like, well, I knew about it. And I was like, I was waiting for that line to come in. Like, I mean, she kind of implies that she had a feeling that maybe
there's the later line in the show where she's like, I was fine having like a part-time husband. So it's she kind of knew, or she figured at least.
Yeah, but it would have been a fun dynamic that Kentaro's mom and Kentaro didn't know shit. And then we have Kate's mom, who's like, who knows about the whole deal. But like, works like this as well. But I think it could have created something.
Maybe she does know, and she's playing it off.
Can I say their moms are awesome? I mean, no wonder Hiroshi had them both, because they're both pretty fucking cool.
No wonder.
That's true.
Well, you speak of both their moms, and I just realized like they did, whilst they both are cool with it now, their initial reactions were very different when hearing the news. Like Kentaro's mom was just like, like first mad, but then she tried to comfort Kate as well, be like, it's okay, we'll sort this out. But then like Kate's mom was just like yelled at Kentaro and was like, just like go away. At the beginning,
to be fair, she found out differently than Kentaro.
Yeah, she found it differently, but like I just liked like the different reactions to it, and like I don't know. Yeah, I just enjoyed that.
I don't know if my kid would yell at me like, "Oh, this is your husband's other kid from other woman." I would be like, "What?" I wouldn't be nice to that kid, to be fair. So
I'm sorry. What?
What's going on? So yeah, Good. But it was good. You're right, Tom. I'm nice.
Being nice today. Being nice this time, Lily. But then there's also the really convenient situation that Kate's mom, Caroline, and James work for this FEMA restoration project. And they live in it's FEMA like housing that they set up for people who have been basically run out of the city after G-Day. Which works out really conveniently because Kate decides they're going to go into the city to look for their dad's office. And the mom's the perfect way to do that. Great. Nice and easy.
Nice and easy.
So we then jump back to Shaw talking to Verdugo again. This is where the line comes in that Shaw is basically saying that like Monarch's approach has been wrong. And they knew he's like they could have prevented G-Day, or at least they knew about a G-Day like event for the last 60 years. Could have been possible. Yeah. And then my favorite line in this is when he says, "What if Godzilla lost?
What if Godzilla had lost?"
What would have happened if Godzilla lost?
Fucked.
What did you say, Brandy? Because the Mutos be humping.
Yeah, humping Mutos.
The other part in the scene that really stands out to me is when he looks at the camera and he says Monarch is wrong. To me, I was interpreting that as he was talking to Tim/Duval.
He was talking to one of them for sure.
Yeah. 100%. Because he's sneaky like that. Everyone is sneaky.
He knows.
They're all snake and snake.
All sneaky. So then we're back into San Francisco. The kids are making their ways through the city, and they narrowly avoid detection for some patrols. And then this is where the really juicy bits come in. Kate starts having flashbacks to the just before G-Day, and we finally start learning about Kate as a person.
She is her father's daughter.
That's what I was gonna say.
I was gonna say that as well. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Yeah.
And we could be. The grandmother is also the same.
I mean,
so. That would be the nice choice. I mean, who am I to judge?
We all know your decision on the Wyatt Russell or some random nerd.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what is she doing? Anyway,
I'm sorry.
I really liked how they not introduced but showcased PTSD, because I think it was very important for Kate's character that we looked into that more, and they did it beautifully. I was very satisfied with that. But yeah, she's just like her father.
And by that, we're specifically talking about how she's
she has two relationships.
She has two relationships. Yeah.
Right. So in the beginning, we learned that she's got a girlfriend that she's in a somewhat committed relationship in. They're very intimate with each other. They work together at the same school. The girlfriend offers for them to move in together. Kate seems kind of apprehensive, but ultimately agrees. But then she's like looking at the key and like thinking about it hard.
Like, haven't you learned? Yeah.
Right. They talk about learning from mistakes.
Right.
I think she's referring to the fact that she just can't commit.
Could be.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe she's been known to cheat or have other relationships.
Just like Daddy.
Yeah, like Daddy.
I fucking
Daddy's
hate that word. But anyway.
And then we get that line too. There's a part where it comes one of the flashbacks, and Kate actually says, like, I don't deserve this. I'm no better.
Yeah.
So she's actually like, she's starting to like have this realization. But I agree with you, Lily. Like the way they portray the PTSD in like these quick flashes of action, or they take a shot and they merge together something that's happened previous. So like it looks like it's happening now in the same time. I think that's probably
amazing.
Really cool.
And she froze. Like
yeah.
Every time they got into like a tight situation in there, she just froze because even the sounds and everything were like triggering. And what I didn't quite understand is why did they go back to the school, I guess, for the flashback's sake, because otherwise they had no business there, to be fair.
Yeah, I took it as that's the direction they needed to go. It just happened to go by her school,
maybe.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Happened to go by her favorite coffee shop went before it was destroyed, and her former workplace.
All the places that trigger core memories.
Yeah, it was through her neighborhood, so I assume because it's through her old neighborhood, that's where this was.
Maybe.
Close by. I don't know.
Possibly.
Just before we actually got to the PTSD, I just want to mention, like, this was the part where I really started to like Kentaro as a character, is when he found a bag of chips and just started eating, and there was like, why are you doing this? Like, what?
Hungry,
yeah, I know, but like that the character's saying why he does. I was been like, good job, man. Like, get your food. But it's just like he's eating evidence now. It's just like
he's like loudly crunching. It was so great.
Yeah, like they're sneaking through, and you just hear like
crunch, crunch, crunch.
This is a weird kind of shift in things too, because they all got kind of lighthearted for a little bit between the chips, and then a little bit later when Kentaro just suddenly starts singing, and it's like
because they're all in it together, and they just realized they're finally.
I also saw the singing part as them starting to bond as siblings.
Yes.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
absolutely. They start to realize that they have this mutual connection of siblinghood, even though they didn't grow up together. They have a mutual memory with their father.
Kentaro's also doing a good job to kind of like lighten Kate up a little bit, because he realizes what she's going through. Like, she's going through some shit. So he's just doing, I guess, what any of us would do, just be stupid and, you know.
Yeah. And also, he had a very important line previously, as they are going to the bomb in the truck, and they say that they were like this. What do you call them? Catastrophe tourists, or what is it called?
Oh,
disaster tourists or something like that.
Yeah. And then they are like, how can people do that? And it's just so that. And then Kentaro is like, yeah, my mom tried to get a ticket to look for that, and everyone's like, shit.
That was right after May said, they're a bunch of scumbags. And she's like, my mom tried to.
Yeah. It's like not everyone is there to be, just taking photos
Sick
and whatever.
bucks, yeah.
Some people are looking for someone, maybe, possible.
True. I also, when they were searching, and they all had their torches on, when they encountered the military and they had to run away, they didn't turn their torches off. They
did at one point, and then they
did at one point. But like when they were behind the car, like they still had the torches on. I'm like, turn your fucking torches off. That's how they'll see you. And then they run away with the torches, like facing that way. So like, the lights like facing behind them. It's like, you deserve to get shot at this point. Like, Jesus. Like, not that I wanted them to, but like, if they're being that stupid, like, come on.
Maybe they forgot that they had torches on them. Okay, Tom? God.
Panic. Oh shit.
And then Kate also lost her bag. I realized like after like they went, because I'm getting ahead of myself.
I didn't even notice that, honestly, but good
notice.
Oh yeah, well it was after like they left went underground, and when they left, I just realized Kentaro and May still had their backpacks, but then Kate just didn't have one. So I'm like, did you just ditch it? Then I thought it'd be funny if the keys to like their eventual office was in her bag, and then they get to the office store, it's like, I don't got the keys anymore.
Oops.
I was waiting for that, but then she's pulled it out of her pocket.
Yeah.
So there's another part to the flashback too, where we see Kate in her day job as a teacher, and she's in a classroom with some kids, and it's like the classroom is really light, but the kids are all huddled around a phone watching the footage of the Muto and Godzilla from, I think, Hawaii. I think that's what that footage was.
Probably, yeah.
And the kids are talking about what's going on, and Kate was like, no phones, typical school kind of thing. But then she looks at the video and she's like, oh, it must be internet prank. And then quickly they find out that maybe it's not so much a prank, because another school official or personnel comes in and says that they're on alert because they're watching that situation. So then it's like, oh, okay, so maybe this is an issue, which is an interesting insight to like, okay, yeah, that's right. She's a teacher. Like, it's kind of, it didn't exactly click in the beginning. Like, yeah, she's on a school bus with kids, but that could have been any number of reasons she was on a school bus with kids. They didn't really specifically say,
What are the other reasons then? Just
it could have been just an evacuation effort.
Yeah, evacuation
in
bus.
general.
Yeah, but it was like kids, and then one adult.
She could have been a teacher's assistant. She could have been an aide.
Could have been a volunteer.
Could have been a lot of things. They didn't say she was a teacher specifically.
I don't know. That was my first thought. Like, she's a teacher. Done.
Either way, we now see her as a teacher. Back into current time, the kids make their way to, they were in the tunnels where Kate was getting more PTSD, and she has a bit of a panic attack. And she kind of like sees Kentaro as her dad and like starts yelling at him. So he's like, all right, I'm going to fuck off at this point. And then May jumps in.
Lily cried.
That's where Lily cried.
Yes,
he cried. Lily cried counter one.
It really got to me. I was like, oh, okay, this is just heartbreaking, to be fair. Like, with her remembering that last moment with her dad, and then just seeing Kentaro there and just automatically thinking like, oh, it's my dad again, and he's leaving again, and just go. And I was like, oh God, what is going on?
Somebody hit Lily's feels button.
Yeah. And just the like, what's possibly more important than us? Like that line. I was like, oh damn.
It hit right in the feels. It's like,
But I also enjoyed that how like Kentaro was trying his, like as you mentioned before, like he was just trying his best to make sure Kate felt safe, I guess.
Yeah.
And so like as soon as he realized, oh, dad, boy, he just left the court. I'm just going to figure stuff out and try and help the best I can. I'm like, that's also where I was just like, no, you're a solid dude. Like you're trying your best. You've had some character growth. you come back around, and like I do enjoy watching how he tries to solve and help the Kate and Eva May.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's great. Let's be fair.
Yeah. So then we get this other part of the flashback from G-Day -1 potentially. Well, there was G-Day -1, and then there was G-Day. And during G-Day, they were trying to evacuate the school. And then this is the scene where like the principal is asking Kate if she wants to be on the school bus or go with the other teacher, which is the girl who's Kate's person that they called Danny in that scene. And she had this like hesitation. And it's like, oh, okay, why is she hesitating? But then it go back to the current day where, you know, they're still dealing with some of Kate's PTSD. And we get that scene where May steps in and calms Kate down, which was really interesting because it got real intimate really fast. And then there was that really tight close-up shot of May's face. And I couldn't help but take that as like how is Kate perceiving this right now? And like, because especially when we're seeing like these flashbacks of like her relationships and ordeals that she's been going through with people in her past. And then of course, when we go back, we realize and see that Kate had actually spent the night with a different woman previously. So now we see her with a different woman, and then it cuts back to her trying to decide, do I want to go on the bus or do I want to go with my girlfriend? And that directly influences her decision to say, I'm going to go on the bus because she can't make the commitment to her girlfriend. So it's like, that was a life-altering decision.
Mm-hmm. Also, we don't know what happened with the girlfriend because maybe she would have stayed back. She would be dead because
I'm assuming she's dead.
I was under the impression that she died, and that's part of Kate's trauma.
Like survivor's guilt, extra survivor's guilt.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. It's like, you know, I will just quickly say that I don't think this series needs like this whole romantic thing going on. I do get you know, it's part of life and whatever. But I just, at this point, I just really hope that they don't start to mess with that. Like now Kate is into May, and then but May was with Kentaro, and it's like, but we're not.
May just wants to get with all the Randas. That's all.
Yeah, like we don't need that. No, I mean honestly, I just think May was just trying to help her calm down. Like I don't think there was anything.
Yeah, it could have been just more reciprocal for Kate helping her in Alaska.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think it was just, I'm trying to be a friend, sort of.
Exactly. Like, yeah. That's how I took it as well. Like I don't think there was anything else there other than, you know, focus here. And because that's like, you know, with someone with PTSD having a panic attack, then you have to make them focus on one thing. Otherwise, it's kind of a lost thing. So, you know, it made sense. And it made sense that May did it because of what we mentioned previously, that Kentaro realized that he's not the solution in this situation. That also made me cry, by the way. This whole Kate and May, I was like, oh, it's just awful. Like,
just
you're like your dad, but also like, like what's going on? I'm so mean.
That's mean.
Couldn't have guessed it.
What are you talking about? I'm always nice to you. Shut up.
Always.
True, I'm sorry.
Always.
Anyway.
Kate snaps out of it. The gang regroups. They get to the building where Hiroshi's office is. They follow the cats. They sure did.
And very importantly, it's not just cat ladies, it's Catman as well.
Catman.
I love that. I was
Taro's uncle, the Catman.
I was laughing so hard because May was just like, cool.
Like, yeah, fair enough.
That's true.
It's 2015.
Well. Yeah.
2015. Anyone can be anything they want.
People are progressive like that.
Yeah. Man can be Catman as well, okay? Jeez.
Catman's just got a cat mask. He's Catman.
So rounding out this episode, they find Hiroshi's office in San Francisco, and they see a similar map on the wall to the one that was in his office in Japan. This time, however, it didn't have a safe hidden behind it. But then by some miracle of science, Kentaro figures out like, oh, I'm going to put a paper on the wall and I'm going to poke some holes in it.
It's the artist's eye.
I'm sorry, but that part was so stupid.
Yeah, I'm.
There's no fucking way why that would have worked like that. Like, unless there's like the sun is directly like, wait, bro, I'm gonna shine just right there, just through there. Wait, hold on, bro. That's not how it happened. That's not how it works.
Yeah,
like,
that scene was a bit full of bullshit.
The sun is exactly in the right position to make this work.
Yes.
Yeah, like I get the science of like having the image to project on the map, but all of the little bits to make it happen in that scene were like, that's not how that works.
Too convenient.
It would have made more sense to grab the flashlight, hold it up, and then I would be like, okay, yeah, that makes
because that's a fixed point with the light.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. But like he put it on the window, and I was like, just immediately, just rays of sunshine, and I'm like, that's not how it works. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, not to mention with like an early morning rising sun in San Francisco, no less.
Yeah,
where there's a lot of fog.
Exactly. It's like,
but no one's been there, so it hasn't been made enough fog yet. It was destroyed.
Okay.
They destroyed
the
fog.
was destroyed.
They destroyed the fog.
They destroyed the fog. New theory.
Godzilla was like, oh,
He's like, a good fog.
Hey, it hydrates.
I have that in my notes too. Like by some miracle, they piece together this information. Like, cool, we got it. Let's go. And they had this little kind of like go team moment of like, we did it. And then boom, they're back home. Yeah. So they get back out of the city. They go back to Kate's mom's. We get a little bit of like specific exposition with each character. So now Kate's having this revelation with her mom. Her mom has those lines about the husband with Hiroshi saying like, yeah, I was okay with him being a part-time husband, but then that wasn't fair to you. Yes. Yeah. And then Kate says we that dad didn't die in Alaska. He might still be alive. And that's where you get the aha moment with her mom. And she's like, I'm going to find him.
She just wants to be with James.
Yeah.
That's what James said. He's tall.
He's waiting for her, like, and then this asshole daughter is like, by the way, dad might be alive. And I'm like, thanks, daughter.
Thanks.
She's like, she just wants to go through her cougar phase.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just ready.
Let her be.
Let her go after a younger man. Jesus.
I'm just going to say that this is one of the most dramatic episodes and we're such idiots about it. It's a coping mechanism, okay? It's like, that's how we cope with drama.
If you don't laugh, you cry.
That's, yeah. You don't want me to cry. I'm very ugly when I cry.
Or like Brandy calls it, snot crying.
Snot crying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So to close out this episode, we get the shot of May walks off and pulls out a phone, and it's like, well, I wonder who she's calling. Obviously, she's calling Duvall with that phone number that she was given, and she's like, I want to go home. What do I got to do? So
Too quick. I think they should have waited with that decision.
This brings me around to a theory that I think Duvall and Tim are trying to work some alternate angles still.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think that's very clear from the beginning, to be fair, from the episode's beginning. Like, Duo wants this, and then Tim is a softie, and he's presumably the good guy in this scenario. And I wouldn't be surprised if it turned out that Duval is like working for someone else as well, not just Monarch. I think it's a possibility.
Maybe Tim knows something about Duval, which is why he didn't want the information in episode 1 to go straight to her. So it's like, hey, I don't trust Duval because like it goes to her before it goes. I'm assuming, is Sarazawa the head? Or is he just like the lead researcher?
I mean, they haven't really talked enough about Sarazawa to really give us that specific information in the show. He was only just referenced one time. She just said Sarazawa.
Yeah, because I was just thinking like if Sarazawa is at the top and then Duval's under him, maybe things aren't getting to Sarazawa because Duval's acting on her own. And then like that kind of caused G-Day, which is why Tim is now trying to circumvent her.
Are you talking about Duval or Verdugo?
Verdugo.
Verdugo. Yeah.
Verdugo, sorry. Yes, Verdugo.
Duval's the French woman.
Because I think Tim and Duval are like their partners.
Those two are besties for resties, and Verdugo is the person who's trying to do her own thing. And then Tim's like, don't trust you. I'll do it myself, and then I can somehow get an audience with Serizawa or whoever's in charge to fix it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Building off your theory, Dan. Sorry.
But no, I figured that's where you were going. I was like, hold on. Okay.
I
think you just got the names mixed up.
Names are hard. It's a hard thing to do. But I just think that May's decision to, like, I kind of see it because, you know, they are building up this sibling relationship between Kentaro and Kate, and then, you know, May is just kind of there because they have to do it together and whatnot, and she has the files and whatever, and maybe she's seeing this bond between them forming, and she's like, shit, maybe I should go back to my sister. Okay, in that sense, it's fine, but I'm like, I wish they would have waited a little bit more with it, or I wish we wouldn't know about that call, because that would be
Keep it
a
secret.
bit more interesting.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know, because May is kind of like, I mean, I'm having a hard time feeling her out because I always thought she was shady, but it's like she was really helping Kate, and it seems like she's not as pissed off at Kentaro.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, okay, well, she it seems like she's coming around to them, but then she makes this call. So I'm like, okay, wait, what the fuck? Like, I'm having a hard time feeling her out. Like, is she really like fucking them over, or?
I see this as a certain situation that we kind of see in a lot of TV, and I hope it's not this then, because it's very predictable. I see it as kind of like it's that thing that leads to the second act moment where, like, whatever May is doing is going to lead to Kate and Kentaro finding out, and then they're going to get really mad at May, and May's going to feel like shit for it. But then they're going to find out that because she did it, it saves their lives, or it works out in the end. And then they're going to be like, oh, it's a good thing you did that. We're not mad at you anymore. But it's still shitty that she did it.
You magically fixed it.
I hope it doesn't play out that way, because again, I don't want it to be that predictable.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what I see happening.
it is probably that predictable, to be fair.
I'm just.
I think I'd.
No, go ahead.
I think I'd like that if it goes the same way as the predictable thing, but she doesn't like feel bad about it. Like with her, because like since episode 2, she's just like, I just want to go home. You've ruined my life. I need to get back to XYZ. So it's like she has the opportunity, and she's like, I'm sorry that I like sold you out, but I need to care for myself more. So then she just kind of goes away, and she doesn't feel bad or has to come back and help. She just like properly just stays away. I think that could be like an interesting way to subvert expectations, I guess.
Except
like,
she's the only
down.
one with the files, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like,
I think that's going to be the exchange. Like, you know, you help us, give us the files, fuck off. Done.
Yeah.
But originally, like, she was going to go back to Tokyo, like, in the beginning. And Kentaro was like, to do what? To go back to the life that I destroyed or something? And then she's like,
yeah.
You know, and then she's just like, I don't think she knew what to do or where to go, to be honest. So that's why I'm very confused by her right now.
She is very much an anomaly.
Yeah.
Still.
It makes sense that she wants to see the sister, especially like I said, after, you know, who she saw between Kentaro and Kate. She's probably reminded that, shit.
It could also be that she almost died, that she's like, I want to see my sister.
Probably, that's probably
could play a part.
A little bit.
The sister doesn't exist.
Who is she talking on the phone?
Imagine that twist.
Oh, no.
Her imaginary friend? I don't know.
Yeah. Or just she just talks to herself. Hi, Lyra. Hi, me. I mean
who doesn't talk to themselves on a daily basis? I mean, like,
exactly.
right?
On the phone.
Yeah. I call myself all the time.
Yeah, there you go.
It helps get the human interaction out of the way.
Exactly.
So, to take us out of this, then, let's get on to our episode ratings. Who's going to tell us about all their snot cries first?
I didn't have snot cries.
I know.
It was a good show. It was a really good episode, though. Like, I'm going to give it a 9 because this was probably one of my favorites so far. Like, it had a lot of story, a lot of like, it felt like it was really moving it along to a good point. So I'm ready to find out so much more, but I'm still very confused.
Brandy's just confused.
I'm very confused.
Brandy's always confused.
Happy but confused.
I agree. I'd agree with the 9. It's been my favorite episode so far. Just like the family drama, expanding on the backstories, the motivations some of these characters have, and like how they've started to grow. And again, the mysteries with still developing with Monarch and Verdugo and Tim and all that stuff. I think this episode did really well in sort of both continuing and setting stuff up for the back half of the season. So yeah. 9.
I want to point something out that was really interesting to me. Like at the very end of the episode, like they're leading Shaw down that hallway and he looks up like at the camera and it's Duval that's looking at him. So I'm wondering like how big of a role she's going to play in helping Shaw.
We find out.
I'm very interested. Again, I'm confused, but I'm very interested.
Confused and
confused, but in a good way because I really want to know. Like I have to keep watching to figure it out.
Fair. I also give it a 9.
9
easily. Yeah, it made me cry. So you know, it already worked. It's I hope they stay on this path where it's like, you know, they were quite unlikable in the previous episode. I voiced this in there as well, and I like that they toned them down. Like, you know, you don't always have to be assholes in all the situations. So I'm like, yes, I like this a lot more. The dynamic works a lot more as well, and it progressed the story. So I think we can safely say that the previous episode was kind of a filler in a way, because it didn't do much. Still,
I mean, it gave us character background on Kentaro and May.
Yeah.
Now it also gave us character background on Kate.
Because I enjoyed Kentaro's sort of like backstory, because that's like gave me an insight to like how he was thinking about things and like why he was maybe a bit of a dick, because like he's so hard to try and impress his father, and then like inferiority complex and imposter syndrome. And I kind of liked how they all meshed that together.
It's like there's nothing wrong with that, but like the 2 episodes compared to each other, this think they moved it forward a lot more. So I'm like, okay,
the character connections are really, really working well.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. Yeah.
I like when people are nice to each other. Okay, that's the thing.
We were really salty about how mean they were to each other last episode.
I hated them. And like, you know, like you make me dislike these characters actively. Like, you know, and here I'm like, okay. Like it started off great because when May said that Kentaro saved us, I was like,
okay.
Yes.
All right. And so for me, I think this was a great episode. I agree with everything you guys are all saying. I'm going to give it an 8, though, because it didn't have any sweet monster action.
Sure it did.
Great stuff. Good stuff. But
we
got the flashbacks of San Francisco, yes.
You got Godzilla and Muto's
they were repeated
humping.
shots, though.
Yeah, whatever.
Those were shots we've already seen. They were quick flashbacks.
Yeah.
I agree with a lot of everything you guys said. I really, really, really appreciate the Kate's flashback scenes. Like those, to me, were extensions of the 2014 movie, because we're seeing things that happened at that time. We're seeing what was happening to other people that aren't the people that were in that movie. The few, you know, soldiers that we followed, the boring characters that we followed in that movie. And now we're getting a much more dynamic relationship of someone who was going through this trauma in their lives, and then put into that horrible, wretched situation with watching a bunch of kids die that they were close to. And just how
she just saw them fall. Maybe they survived.
Oh yeah, you're gonna tell me Keiko died,
just like Keiko,
but the kids,
you know,
survived.
Yeah, I was
sure.
Well, if you believe Keiko lived, then you believe the kids lived.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe they fell into a hollow earth hole.
They fell into the hollow earth and didn't immediately explode from the inverse gravity.
They fell into a bed of giant baby cockroaches. That's what they fell into.
A bed of cockroaches. A fluffy bed of cockroaches.
They're going to be playing with Kong in the new Godzilla.
They're going to be found in cocoons and not be dead yet.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. They were just gently caught.
They were turned into cats.
Or maybe
They were
we
the
didn't.
cats.
Yeah, they were the cats. Or maybe we didn't see, and Godzilla went like, "Okay, I'm gonna catch you now."
Yeah,
And
like
just,
ha.
Yeah.
He pulls a
Yeah.
Superman.
yeah, and just caught them and said, "See, I sorted it out."
Yeah.
But anyways, like I'm going a little lower on the score just because like there's elements that I'd like to see in this show that I didn't see, but I do really appreciate the drama and the story of the characters and moving things along finally. Like the pacing in this one was way better than the last episode, and it didn't feel like as much like nails on a chalkboard in that sense. But preview for next week, episode 6, Terrifying Miracles. Shaw finds an unlikely ally within Monarch as the team has a harrowing run-in. Keiko and Lee grow closer while at a military ball. This episode is going to be 49 minutes. The first line of this leans into what Brandy was talking about with the ally. So who's the ally? Is it Duvall? Is it Duvall and Tom? Or is it just Tom?
Tim.
Me?
Tim Tom needs to change his Discord name from
No,
Tim Tom.
it's like Tim Tam. It's Tim. It's not Tim Tam. It's Tim Tom.
What's Tim Tam?
It's a biscuit in Australia.
Good for you.
So-
They call it Tim Tam.
So what you're saying is you're a biscuit.
Yeah,
All right.
the
Yes.
more you know.
So Biscuit and that's his theory.
Biscuit and Duval.
Yes,
Biscuit and Duvall.
Yeah, so at least this episode is still relatively long, and hopefully we get some good action in this one when they talk about a harrowing run-in, and we're going to get some more background on Keiko and Lee in the past. I'm hoping that this is going to be that they hook up, essentially. Is what
Yes,
we'll
please.
see.
because
then
that
we're
would be the good decision. Let's be fair.
Mhm.
Like
They're totally
Wyatt
gonna fuck.
Russell.
And then we're going to learn that the Randa kids aren't Randa kids at all.
They're Shaw kids.
They're Shaw kids.
Shock.
Wow,
What a
okay.
shocker. They're Shaw kids.
Oh, no.
Shaw kids.
So like
Shaw.
Tim said, Shaw is their grandpappy.
Yay. And
They
they
hate you, grandpa
rule
kid.
themselves an entire family. See?
Mm.
They have 2 moms, a grandpa who's should be 90, but it's 50.
Mhm.
And
Or
a deadbeat dad.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Maybe he ages back to Wyatt Russell.
He's going to
It's
de-age.
not me saying that I don't like Kurt Russell, but like,
he jumps into the whole earth, does like a timey-wimey stuff, and then
Yeah,
pops
just-
back out.
Timey-wimey.
Boop.
Mm.
Boop.
Just pops
Done.
out.
I love that. Yes. Yes.
All right.
There we go.
So I think we got our theories locked and loaded for next week. It'll be a good one. I'm hoping that this is an upward trend and like the next 4 episodes are just going to like crank it out. Or is it 5 episodes? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Yeah,
5.
5 episodes.
Right.
So hopefully it's just
Easy
a constant increasing awesomeness as we keep going here. At least hopeful for that. But yeah,
And more Wyatt
Ah.
Russell.
more Wyatt Russell. All the Wyatt Russell.
Yes.
Mhm.
So, thank you all for listening to this week's episode of the Monarch Files. Be sure to catch us every week at 2 p.m. PST on Tuesdays at Couch Soup on YouTube. Plus, you can listen to us everywhere you listen to podcasts under the Watching Now banner. Thank you all for joining us, and thank you, Brandy, Tom, Tim Tam, Biscuit Tom, and
Yay.
Lily. And be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to all of Couch Soup and feed your hungry nerd soul.
Yeah.
Rawr!
Bye.
Godzilla roar.
The next episode is just going to be Kantaro being Catman.
My uncle's a cat man.
He
And
was
he
the
just
first
shows up at
Batman.
the end. He's going to be the ally at the end.
Just
Catman.
Catman.
Batman. He's gonna be like
Batman.
Ultraman, where he grows really big and he can
Yes.
fight the monsters with Godzilla.
It's going to be like meow.
Catman.
Meow.
He's gonna be like the Power Rangers, like brr, brr, brr.
No, it's just like, I'm Catman. Meow gets shot
Meow.
immediately.
bam,
It's like,
like Indiana
Meow,
Jones,
I'm
just
gonna-
blam.
yeah, pretty much.
And it's just going to fight Godzilla like meow, meow, meow. Okay, I stop now. I'm very
And
tired.
the atomic brain's like a laser pointer. So he like breathes atomic breath and goes, ooh,
He's pouncing,
shit, shit.
chasing. The Godzilla breath.
Brandy's bored of us, so